Hello YouTube, my name is Ep3 and welcome back to episode 3. Back on our space platform, traveling to a new planet to add to our repertoire, Volcanus. I'm going to do some tips and tricks, show you guys how to conquer the planet, tame some demolishers, and move on to bigger and better planets, like Gleba eventually. In this episode, we fly on our new ship, the Diamonds. We now have 4 ships now in our fleet, Diamond being the one that we're going to be going to Volcanus with. Has some supplies in here for us, and off we go. Beautiful entry into Volcanus there. Clean touchdown. Dropping our supplies down with us as well. Just as a heads up, you actually can land those on top of yourself. You can kill yourself with that. When you're ejecting them, just try not to get yourself squashed. It definitely does happen. And there we have it. Beautiful fine specimen. The small demolisher. We're going to have to get that guy out of the way so we can get some of that tungsten ore, the ore of the planet, to make the science packs. I think all our training under Death World series, we should be able to show that guy who's boss. First things first, on any planet, you need to get your power up and running and get some basic resources. You could bring a lot of stuff with you, but in typical Yamakara fashion, I forget half the stuff I need, so we'll craft it here on planet. You can start every planet except Aquilo with nothing with you. So as long as you get to the planet, you can kind of craft everything on planet. Aquila, you can't do that, but on every other planet you can, so don't stress too much about what you bring to the planet. Just bring whatever you want. So first thing you're going to want to start getting on Volcanus while you're on planet is some of the sulfuric acid. Each planet has a bonus resource that's typically kind of free. This one gives you the sulfuric acid, which you are going to use for pretty much everything on this planet. So it's nice geysers to go off of. Dump your pump jacks down and off you go. Now we're going to get some of the tungsten ore with that sulfuric acid. That is the resource of the planet used to make the science packs. Get some of that. You can hit some of the rocks around on the planet, the small rocks, and get a little bit of the tungsten, but you're eventually going to need a mine. Now another custom resource on Volcanus is the calcite. Get some of this up and running. A lot of your processing does require this as a byproduct. So you're going to need the basic material, but also calcite as well. Some of the lava from the geysers on the planet. And then calcite. So pretty basic setup. Nothing strange on that. That is typical Factorio. Just a little bit of a different recipe. And then you can generate some steam. And steam is beautiful for generating power. You can kind of skip some steps and use that to power some steam turbines. As exciting as solar panels are a little more annoying to place, take up a lot more space than 50,000 steam turbines. So steam is a very easy way to fuel this planet. Big, huge steam setup. And that is not how you do that. Look at that. See, we all make that mistake once. Everybody sets it up wrong, but once you do get it going, then you're good to go. So use the calcite run, kind of skirting through the whole factory, because a lot of buildings need the calcite. You don't need a lot of calcite, but a lot of buildings need calcite. It's one of those resources. One belt will probably supply you for a long time. Now heading off, we need to claim some of that tungsten ore. This Demolisher, we could poke him with our lasers, but lasers really don't do any damage to the Demolisher. You're going to have to use some real tactics. Jumping into the research queue here, we got to figure out how to fight some demolishers, and the atomic bomb and the mech armor. The mech armor is another great resource on this planet. Mech armor is probably something we really should have made on the other planet, but we did not. One day I'll make it, and it will be great. The atomic bomb is also probably a very strong way of killing our demolisher friend here, but we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna make some ammo. Jumping back on a Nauvis, checking our science out. We are still teching. The sushi science belt is working quite nicely. It looks pretty cool. I do like that it's around the spaceship. It's not the most efficient thing in the world, but it does look good. I'm gonna give us a 10 out of 10 on the spaghetti score. It's some fine Italian construction. Jumping back over, we are now preparing to kill our demolisher in the most classic sense ever. So I don't see him. I'm not really sure where he is. You should see it. It must be a little north there. And we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. So you could bring a tank, you could bring an atomic bomb, or you could do this. This is actually the first time I've ever killed a worm like this, or fought a worm like this. So we'll see how this goes. So I try to pull him into the side so he doesn't immediately demolish the entire bank of turrets. I don't bother putting ammo in every single one because half of them are going to die anyways. Look at that. Easy as that. Old Factorio strategies clearly still work. So now we have a nice tungsten reserve we can go off of. We can get this planet properly automated. No more hand mining rocks. As much fun as that was. Still can't figure out that a beacon is 3 tiles. Played for several thousand hours and still do that wrong occasionally. Good times. We got some oil up and running, some cracking, so we can get some of our rocket fuel and get the science automated and get this planet fully automated and get off of here. Go somewhere else. We got the big mining drills. These things are pretty cool. They do have more spots for modules, which is nice, but they also have a increased productivity. A little bit bigger, but it's definitely a nice add to Factorio for sure. Definitely interesting to be using that. Obviously using them on Vulcanus because you kind of have to on the tungsten ore. But we will be bringing those back to Nauvis as well. Look at that. Look at that little beautiful factory. Does lots of things. Got some automation going on. Power is not good here, so we need more. We need more things. We'll replace some of the original mining drills with better yields from the big mining drills because it's better for everybody. Nice classic setup here as well. The 2 long inserters grabbing, and then you can do the short inserter on the front if you need another row there. Get our chips up and running. Get this place automated. Some copper. One thing I pretty much refuse to ever belt is copper cable. That's kind of a crime in Factorio circles to belt the copper cable. You can belt a lot of things, but copper cable is, yeah, even I don't do that. That's pretty bad. So now with the red chips automated, we can get the big mining drills fully automated, so no more handcrafting anything. And we can start pulling those and sending them to other planets if we need them, because they are the future. Beautifully automated. Get some solar panels here as well. Make this place self-sufficient completely, so it doesn't need any further resources delivered from other planets. Bring all the things. One thing I find in Factorio is I typically get lazy and don't like to automate a lot of things sometimes, which is kind of funny because you're playing a video game and you're being lazy. But I find you definitely worth your while to automate all the things. Always automate all the things. And heading back to Nauvis, we are still having power problems. That is a sign of progress. The factory is always pulling. Always need more. So we're going to boost the nuclear reactor here. This is a beautifully efficient nuclear reactor setup, as everybody can tell. Very blueprintable. So this section here is pretty basic, but the rest of that nuclear reactor is pretty not typical. And back on Volcanus, we are requiring more of everything as well. So Volcanus is now pulling as well. Needs more pump jacks, get some more sulfuric acid. And we are getting there. Getting one step closer to the science. So that low density casting as well would be nice. Now we can get the rocket automated. Dumping all that stone, voiding it in. That's a nice way to get rid of stone. Not really sure what else you can do with the stone unless you want to pave every single planet. This is what most people typically do with the stone. There's just too much. And look at that planet now. Running out of power. This is the way I play Factorio. Every planet should be running out of power at all times. The factory starts looking pretty nice. But you can do this on Vulcanus because you get so much steam power that you can just stamp down 5,000 steam turbines. You could do solar, and you do get a benefit from solar. There is a boost to solar on this planet, but compared to dumping the steam turbines down, it's just so much easier. And now I need to clean this mess up a little bit. I need to pick up some more turrets because we're gonna go take some more territory here. Why? Because I need more space. I do have a lot of space. Factorio space is infinite, but I want more. Look at that blueprint. That is beautiful. Stamp that down. We clearly know that this works. The turrets at the back will do the most work. The turrets at the front are sacrificial turrets, so we're okay with those ones die, but the ones at the back are the ones we want. Bring a radar over here as well. Where are you hiding, Mr. Worm? There's a lot of tungsten on this chunk here as well. Definitely a nice way that the devs divided or showed the territory of the worms. So you can bait it towards you a little bit. Make it run at us. Here, worm. Slowly but surely coming. So we're okay with a couple turrets dying. I want it to get pushed a little bit more to the left side, then straight through the center. It's okay to kill some of those. See, there we go. Ooh-wee. Easy. Definitely lost some turrets. That's okay, though. Didn't need all those turrets anyways. Always make more. They can't make more worms, but I can make more turrets. And what is going on here? So for some reason, we don't have space science going on anymore because, yeah. we have a problem over here. We are not producing. The platform's definitely big enough. I definitely don't need to expand the platform anytime soon. I think we've achieved greatness there, but for some reason, we're not reading the belt properly. We have not been back here in a while. We've just let it accumulate and accumulate. So whatever system we had going on here is not working. 100 being probably too much for that circle. We can kick it down to 90. Maybe that'll work better. But we do need more space science as well. So that's why we actually came here, because there was no space science. Now we know why there was none, because clearly have a little bit of a problem here, but let's make more. Let's just boost production here as well. So we'll fix the problem, boost production. Back on the Vulcanus, we are almost ready to be sending the space science up. Got the rocket silo up and running. I'd say Vulcanus is really probably one of the easier planets. I'd say Falgora takes a little longer to kind of wrap your head around. But Vulcanus is not too bad. Right there on the carousel. There was no space science to be had. And then we look, and we also have another problem. That belt is full of other miscellaneous garbage. We have made a mistake. The joys of belts like this. And we'll clean that up and fix it. We'll be good to go. Dump the stone. There's probably better ways of dumping the stone. Bringing it closer to lava, but for all intents and purposes, this works. This works nicely. We can even put some solar power here as well. We don't even need this to be connected to the grid. It's just going to be powering a couple inserters, so that's all we need. Self-sufficient stone dump. Beautiful. Do some more belt weaving. And we are getting there. All that stone. Don't want to be backlogged on yeeting your stone off of this place. Got a little hole in the ground there we can shove some rocks into, because that looks perfect. Why go into the full column of lava when you can just shove it into a little tiny hole there? One thing we are noticing, though, for our spaceships is we probably do want to put some cargo bays on here. I think that might be my next upgrade on one of those space platforms, but we'll get there eventually. Here we go. Bringing technology from one planet to another planet. Playing the game properly by bringing those electromagnetic plants here. Pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do. Pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do. And this planet is now starting to look good. Kind of matching the other planet, filling everything in with some solar panels and accumulators. We are consistent on filling all the space. Every single planet we want to have a nice compact setup going on. It is definitely getting there. There we go. That setup is perfect. Self-sufficient, self-reliant little setup there. It's just inserters that's powering, nothing else. Those electromagnetic plants making some blue chips, the big expensive ones. Probably eventually want to set everything up on the electromagnetic labs, but you gotta start somewhere. Gotta start somewhere. That looks pretty nice. And there's a masterpiece of a Volcanus setup. Looks it's very satisfying to watch it just sit there. You got belts and accumulators and solar panels and a rocket. So she's a beaut. Every single planet is consistently looking the same now. Got a lot of solar panels, a lot of accumulators. We're all about that green energy. That is definitely what I'm going for. And then another nice feature here as well, once you start naming stuff, is you can actually add the planet or like a logo at the back of your names here. So now your ship, like the Spaghetti Bowl, has the space science next to it. Potato has Falgora, and then Diamond will now have Volcanus on the backside of it. That's just a nice feature there that devs added. You always could do that in Factorio 1.0, but it was a lot harder to do that. Now we've automated this, so we're going to be bringing back the big mining drills as well as the refineries. This spaceship is it's beautiful. We also don't have a radar over there on the calcite, which will probably be a problem one day, but for now we will just leave that as is. It'll make our rocket go a little bit faster because it builds so slow without some beacons going on there. And off we go. We are producing. Nighttime in the factory doesn't need lights. Not with those accumulators cranking up like that. That was a nice look. That is a beautiful factory. I'm pretty sure that everyone's base in Volcanus looks like this. Pretty confident. And back on Nauvis, we are probably still having power problems because that's pretty much all I ever do on Volcanus. But we are going to expand a little bit. We've got some laser defenses going on here. The factory is still killing everything because I refuse to fight some of the biter nests because I don't really have to. We just let them come to us. Our factory is perfectly efficient on its own. But one thing we're noticing is our science is going a little bit too slow. And there's no room to expand anywhere around that carousel. So we're actually just going to add another carousel. Another science sushi setup. This one will also not be very expandable, but we will just shove it in here, and if we need more, we'll just make another setup. That is the way here, the play. So this will probably double plus our setup. A few more science labs here. Eventually, you'll be switching to the more advanced labs once you get to Gleba, but for now, this will work. We will head back to Nauvis. Back to our space platform. I still remember the first time I ever did my space flight, I thought that was a pretty big deal. But once you start getting into a playthrough, jumping back and forth between planets is pretty easy. It's not too much of a problem. The spaceships are automated, you're good to go. This is a beautiful screen, you get to watch this every time. The devs definitely did a good job with this. You can see Diamond in the mini map there as we land. You can definitely probably tell where the name came from. I think it's a nice ship. This might be one of my favorite ships to date. So the Giant is still in progress, but Diamond is very efficient. Potato is... potato. Potato is definitely potato. But it looks like we're kind of full here as well. So we're having a little bit too much of that one asteroid there. So we'll dump it out and then we'll go from there. But back on Nauvis, we can start replacing some of our original drills with the big mining drills. A, we get a better yield. B, they look cooler. And yeah, so replace them, dump some of the big guys in, and off we go. They do look cooler. They look so much chunkier, for sure. And they pick up a bigger area as well, which will actually help clear some of these nodes out as well. Definitely decent. And still, the flamethrowers go. We're probably 40, 50 hours in our playthrough still, and still fighting the biters right outside where we're building. I don't think I'll ever change. I think I'll continue to play like this. This is kind of a fun way of playing. It's got that Death World vibe, even though it's not a Death World. It feels very Death World-ish, but do some expansion here. Slowly but surely creep out. Don't want to expand too much because we need to keep the whole factory filled up at all times. Why? Because it seems like a fun self-imposed rule for no apparent reason. That's how we play. Slowly creep out. Could push them back and do a big land claim. That's typically what people would do, but this seems like a fun way of doing it. So as we continue building and expanding, keep killing some biters, pushing them back. It's definitely getting some Death World vibes as we push them back. The biters aren't really winning here. Clearly, we are definitely beating them, and okay. Well, thanks for watching. It's been a good playthrough. I guess we'll restart the series from there. Yeah, well, that was fun. So, clearly the real enemies are not the biters. The real enemies are trains. They always were trains. Every time I played through on Twitch, people in chat would always definitely rooting for the trains, I feel like, not rooting for me. So, good times. Thanks, trains. Not too bad, though, in our playthrough. Only one train death so far. Especially considering we have quite a few trains automated, and I am moderately reckless, so 1 death, 40 hours with these trains and these biters. Not too bad. Not too bad. So back in the map overview, we are still doing well with our outposts. We got a couple of iron outposts at the top there with the stone. We got our uranium outpost in the middle. Definitely lots of deposits we can pick up and hit if we still need to. Always need to, but on a need-to basis, we'll expand to them. Got the copper right there we're looking at. Some more iron. The coal is still doing well. Biters are pretty close to the coal, but that's okay. And we're having some iron problems again, so we can bring out the big mining drills. The big mining drills will get even better yields on a pretty big deposit. They're chonky. It still feels a little bit weird to be using the big mining drills on outposts, but they will be getting their usage, that's for sure. We'll just shove another train in the factory here. It's a perfect space for a splitter. Or a balancer, definitely makes sense. Perfect spot. This factory is a little bit condensed. It's just a little tight. There's definitely no space. Typically, you'd want space on both sides of the track to unload the train faster, but this will do. This will do. We've got the double-headed train here with a 2-4-2 train. It's like a turnaround. Parked in. This used to actually be one of our outposts here. We've now kind of absorbed it into the whole factory. Back on the iron outpost. Add a splitter at the beginning, so that one line will get divided, so both wagons will get filled at the same time. It's a classic way of filling a train like that. And you only have 2 belts in. Split it, jump it across, and split it again. And our sushi science setup number 2 is working, and you will notice we do have the metallurgic science as well here. So the metallurgic science is the orange science on the far side. Plenty of that. The labs are looking happy. Be nice to get prod 3 modules into those labs, but that's a gleba problem. Can't quite do that yet, so slowly but surely. The sushi science setup is working well. But we do need more trains in here. We need another station, so let's pull another train across. Dump some of the elevated rails across. The automated setup gets a little bit crazy. Sometimes it wants to do some crazy 360s and stuff, but it's not too bad to use. That worked out kind of nicely like that. Pull it across, bring it down, and we can do another station right there. Beautiful. Bring some stone over. And back to some belt weaving because we ran out of space in our factory. That's a typical me problem. This is a good place to dump a balancer in. I think this actually turns into a 4-way balancer. This is a horrible spot to try and do a 4-way balancer. Dumping that stone train out. Trying to get run over by a train again. That train is driving backwards. Cool, cool. Typical Factorio fashion. Yeah, so we're trying to set up a balancer here. We're ran out of space. We're trying to wrap our heads around doing a balancer when you pull all the mechanics apart. Really shouldn't be that confusing, but sometimes. Sometimes. Still getting attacked a little bit. The walls are doing their thing. Biter kill counts are still kicking up there. So we got 71,000, 55, 33, 30, 29, 28. We are definitely winning the war. Only 1 engineer death still to this date versus those 200,000 plus biters. The flamethrower turrets are still probably the meta against big pushes from the biters. The biters just can't keep up. We kept the entire original plane crash, all the parts, or the rocket crash, all the parts are still kept there. Some of the original walls and turrets are still there from the very beginning of the factory. I think that looks really nice. This might be one of the coolest looking Factorio factories I think I've ever made. Definitely looks good. Use some colored lights as well to add some ambiance with the steam turbines polluting the green and then the purple light over there. That's the beginning of the nuclear setup. That is a warning hazard light. So she's getting there. Got a rocket silo up north. Our beautiful, beautiful green lake. I don't think I could ever turn that back blue again. There's just a little bit of pollution there. Just a little bit of pollution. But for once, you will notice that we're not having a power problem. So on that note, let me go create a power problem. Until next episode, this is Yamaka. Ciao for now.